Welcome back to Oxygen Not Included, everybody. After our last episode recorded, I made a bit of a problem, and that was that I let the game running when I wasn't paying attention, and it played through all the way to cycle 150, and in the process, I lost a few duplicates. So rather than starting over completely, what I did is I reloaded the last save I had and played back up to cycle 70 to get us to where we were before we started. Did do a few things a little different, so I'll show it off real quick. We are hatching or we are running stables for hatches and for sweetles this time around. So I have two different nurseries set up for that. We've reached the point where we have barbecue coming in pretty regularly. As far as our achievements go, we did get to Locavore. We had been before. In Carnivore, we are trucking right along. We have 250,000 calories to go with 30 cycles to get there. So we're pretty much right where we were before. I kept pretty much all the same duplicates. Little minor changes to them throughout, but we are just about getting set up to install our first conveyor system now that we have a mechatronics engineer. So we're pretty much where we were before, so we're going to continue on playing through from here and get working on that. So I will be back after we get these last few things installed, and then we'll play through from there. Welcome back, everybody. Got a few more things set up, and we're going to play through for a little while here. One thing I added in during the time before I started this episode was a mod to add in notification suppressants, just because when you have recipes that don't have ingredients but you want to leave them queued up like I do on the grill, these things get really annoying. So all this does is when you hit suppress current, any notifications that are currently on that building disappear. So now I don't have to see those anymore. I am adding in some paintings into the dining hall to make a great hall. So the other thing I wanted to figure out is this room is 58 tiles. This room is 40 tiles. And so a maximum size of a great hall is 120. So if I combine these two rooms, it's going to be 58 plus 40. It's 98 plus the one tile. So I can break this tile and turn these two mess halls into one great hall. And then that will very much help with our morale. We've reached the point where we're trying to make sure we maximize morale to keep anyone from getting too much stress. So most of the morale's doing pretty well. I think everybody's actually over the morale they need. So when you want to look at morale on a large scale, you can just look on this screen. It says here the current morale, and then the second number is the morale that's needed. So as long as you don't have anybody who has a need for morale that's higher than their current morale, you're good. And the lowest morale we have in the entire colony is 13 for Primus. Let's see what he's getting from morale. So he's still just getting the mess hall buff. So once he hits the great hall, that'll add another 3. We still only have a latrine. We're gonna put in a full bathroom. That'll help. So I think we're doing really well with the morale front. Let's see. You are our demolitionist. Let's add in carrying. We actually got a couple people up to mechatronics engineering now, which means as we go to add in buildings for that, it should go a little faster. But right now my bottleneck for that is I need more refined metal, so I have more copper being made up as fast as we can. Let's check out which colony achievement we just earned. Oh, that was the masterpiece. So Gunder painting a masterpiece has gotten us that achievement. It's also helped a lot with our decor in this section. We need to work on the other rooms, but until we have the rooms set up in their final place, I'm not too worried about decor. We have really bad decor up here because I'm adding in the power grid up here. So what I did for the power grid is just I set up 3 manual generators in their own maximum priority, but they get shut off when our power in these batteries gets to 90%. And then it all gets distributed to these 3 transformers, which are sending power out. I have one grid that has the oxygen on it, and then the incubators. It says it has a potential to overload, but that's because each of these incubators is 240, and so they're counting as 1440 power a piece, but only one of them is ever powered on at a time. So really, instead of 2880 power on the grid, it's 480. So you can take 2400 off of this number. So the maximum this grid that we're going to hit is 720. So what I think I'm actually going to do... Now I think I'm going to leave the oxygen the way it is, because very shortly we'll be putting in a self-powered oxygen maker using the electrolyzers, or SPOM as people call them. We're going to take the omelets because we don't want to add in any more duplicates right now. So, bathroom is definitely a high priority task, but I want to get this auto sweeper system set up so I can get these eggs out of here faster, because they're slowing down reproduction rates. For now, I'm just going to do another sweep. What I did is I set up a bulk storage system over here. This is storing everything, including the critter eggs. The only thing I don't store in here at the moment is polluted dirt, rot pile, and slime. And I really could put them in here because the water in here would keep them from off-gassing. But instead I put one over here that does those, so I keep them all in the polluted water pit that I made. So I have 4 of these set up. They're not powered. They're just sitting here. And the reason I do 4 is because that way, even if one person is dropping off items, the other people can do it too, so I don't have the sweep commands constantly going back and forth. And so I just set a priority on the sweeps so that they come in and grab everything and take it up. I'll be able to get rid of that entirely once I get the conveyor system in, because I will have these conveyor loaders all dropping off into this chute going into the same storage space. And so the idea is that eventually we will have everything in the colony stored in this spot, which helps to decrease our lag. But the eggs that are stored in here can still be reached by the duplicates because they go through the ladder here to feed the incubators, and then any of that sit there are continuing to incubate on their own, and if they hatch, then the Sweetles and the hatchlings can't get out of here, so they just die in the water. Adding more food to us. Our kill chamber's working pretty well up here. Or our evolution chamber, as I should call it. That's going to be good, because that's going to give us some more meat. I think that we're still doing fine as far as the Carnivore achievement, but I should check on it because we're getting closer and closer to our limit. We still have 200,000 to go with 24 cycles, so that's 10,000 a cycle. So we're getting close. We may have to do some calling to get enough barbecue, but I think we'll be okay as long as we can keep producing meat at a pretty decent rate. So right now we just made another 9,600. So that's about what we produce each day, which is plenty. That's what we need. I'm doing a little bit of selective deconstruction down here to get rid of this chlorine without it going into the base, because I want to make a path underneath here for carbon dioxide to spill down to my carbon skimmer here, because it's building up all over the base. So yeah, things are going well. We're getting everything slowly made. How are we doing? We have a decent amount of copper here, so let's do some more wiring. The autosave still does that. If you're placing something when the autosave comes, if you're not careful, you can run wires all over the place. Okay, so that's queued up more copper than I have available, so we'll have to let that sit for a while longer. The reason I have to use this copper wire is because I'm going to connect all 6 of these sweepers plus the conveyor loaders, which is another 6, so that's 12 items that all draw 120 power, so it's going to be 1440. So if I just do it with regular wires, it's going to overload the grid and it will short out. And I could do another transformer and run 2 sets of regular wires down, but I think it's about time I start getting into conductive wire anyway. So I think that what we will work on next is putting in the bathroom. I left space for it right here. So what we need are 4 sinks. And then we're going to do 4 lavatories. Always place something incorrectly every time. Never fails. Oh, I still have this set on high priority. Let's make it 6 for the building. Because we want to get this done, but it's not done. I don't want it to take priority over life support. Yeah. We're going to want to have doors on this, because we want it to become a washroom, so we get an extra morale out of it. Plus, we want to stop having duplicates have to clean the latrine so often. And it will create a little bit of a water positive loop instead of having polluted dirt to deal with. So there's a lot of advantages to doing a washroom over a latrine. Okay, so the next thing we need to get that working is we're going to have to get some water into it for it to start. So I'm going to put a liquid pump in here. We'll run some piping up. And then we'll run the polluted water line out. I think that what we're going to do is run this line down this way, because I'm going to put our refinement. For now, I'm just going to put it right here. Probably going to be moving it later, because eventually I want to set this up so that the polluted dirt that comes from this sieve will be fed to poke shells. But for now, this will work. So then what we want is we want to create a bridge that puts the water into this grid first, and then any excess water will come over this way. here. We'll put our drain right here. Basically, any polluted water that comes off of the bathroom will get fed into this water sieve, and then the output will come here. It'll try to cross this bridge first, so if there's any space on this line, it will fill it up first. Not too sure about that going in the middle. I think so. Actually may change that. I'm worried about that being an issue. So let's move this over here. Do the liquid bridge like this. So the output will come like this. We'll do a second bridge to go up over this. That way it's coming in from the side. I think that'll cause it to have less confusion and jamming up. And that means that we can just do the bottom out going like that. So what we need is some base tiles there, and then all we need to do is figure out where we get power from. This one would have enough space on the grid to do it. Let's do that. That'll work for now. Even though it's going to cost us more conductive wire, that'll be okay. Oh, we got a duplicate stuck. So let's do 39 across here so we can get her out of there. Let's do, if you do that one right there in the middle, first she'll be able to jump across. Now we got nobody trapped. Priority 9. Cancel the yellow one. And the last thing we need to do is get power to this. Let's see. This line has 850. But 80 of that is the research. 240 is the refiner. So I think we'll be okay to have some intermittent power going in here without overloading. So we can use this to power up the liquid pump. Alright, so once all that construction is done, the liquid pump's also temporary. We just have to get enough water up here to get the process started, and then we will disconnect this line. So once we get all this construction done, we'll have a fully working bathroom we can pull out the latrine. I'll probably change up this a little bit later. Like I said, once I get some poke shells, what we can do is we'll set it up so that there is a storage bin full of sand, and then an auto sweeper that puts it into the sieve. The sieve will give off polluted dirt, and then the poke shell will eat the polluted dirt. And I forget what they make with that. They eat polluted dirt, and then they give off sand, that's great. So it's half the sand goes back into the sieve. So basically, if we put a poke shell in there, we won't have to deal with the polluted dirt, and it'll cut the amount of sand we use in the water sieve down by half. Not that sand's really an issue. You end up with so much sand in here. Oh, we have a hatch that's out here free. Time for you to get sent away, buddy. Check out the duplicates. I don't want to put in another duplicate right now unless there's one that's really, really fantastic, because I don't have the beds and everything set up for it. So we'll just take the brine. I want to increase the priority in this room to get rid of all this polluted water from when somebody made a mess. Looks like we did not have tiles underneath that last lavatory. We'll put that in. Set this door to open. Allow it to lock. This is almost done. A little bit more piping to do, a little more power. Where this water is coming from, I gotta check that out. Do I have water up here somewhere? Odd. I wonder if somebody dropped that hatchling while they were going in here. Oh, we have pressure damage from the water. It's very strange. I don't have any more water going in. But that's where the water's coming from. These sandstones being damaged by pressure. Not sure what's causing that. I'm gonna have to look into it. Do want to switch this out to insulated tile anyway, so let's put in this igneous rock. We're gonna end up with some leaks from that, but we'll deal with it. So the way I have this set up while I'm here looking at it is I have a critter sensor that counts the number of critters that are inside here, saying that there's 4. So that's above it. Above, basically, if there's any in there, it sends a green signal. But it also waits for a green signal from this timer. This timer runs for 2 minutes, and it's off for 480 seconds. So at the same time every day, it turns on. I'm going to turn it on right now just so we can demonstrate it. And so what that does is it sends a red signal into this buffer gate, which closes the bottom door for 5 seconds. And then after 5 more seconds, it sends a signal into this buffer gate, which closes this door. And then for 2 minutes, that signal stays on, which is enough time for these hatches or whatever critters I have in here to drown and evolve into meat. Like that. And then shortly thereafter, this signal shuts off and it goes down. But also, if it loses the critter signal, it also opens the doors, so that way it doesn't keep it running too long. So I think with the igneous rock there, it might be better. We'll have to keep an eye on that, make sure that that does not have any pressure issues coming up. And I want to put in a ladder right there temporarily, just so I can get those 2 replaced. And we'll have to deal with any water that spills down, because it's gonna. And we left the bottle empty up here up top, so we can top this off if we need to. All you need to have is full water in the bottom 2 tiles, and then this one has to have at least 800. So when we lose some here, when they're switching out this tile, we'll have to top it off. In fact, we can turn this on a while, because I know I'm going to need to do that. Just a tiny little bit falls out, but it's enough to drop this water down low enough that the next time it turns on, it's not going to be enough water to drown the critters. So this is on 9. That'll fill up through there. We just got to keep an eye on it that it doesn't overflow. Okay, so deconstruct this tile and this tile. You can do that at higher priority. Then I already have tiles in here that are being built at an angle to slowly push this chlorine out. Let's do that again. Deconstruct. Deconstruct. And this one with deconstruct. While we're there, we can put this back in. That's why I filled this whole row up, because I want to replace it with airflow tiles. This one. And this one. We're going to run into some issues getting to that one because of this tile. So let's deconstruct this pitcher pump temporarily. That way we place a tile there. Again, the whole reason we want to do that is because we want this carbon dioxide to be able to spill down in here and the oxygen to get back out. So we don't end up with this big carbon dioxide pool down here. Okay, so now I can deconstruct this tile. I don't want to do this all the way across to here, because I'm going to need to do that to get to these last couple. Though I don't need, I think it's just going to be to go to there. Yeah, that should be good. Put this tile back. And this one. This one, let's make it a priority 9. Oops, okay. Oh, yeah. See, that's the issues that we have when they're down here doing construction. Since they're in the carbon dioxide, they run out of air and then they have to run back up. So it makes it very inefficient to build any work down there. All right, we're past cycle 80, so let's check on our achievement one more time. So now we're at 240, so we have 160 to go with 19 cycles left. So that's 160 divided by 19 is 8.4. So if we look at our colony report, where we had rotten meat. That's not good. But we had 10,000 calories of barbecue eaten, which is more than we need. So as long as we continue with that, we'll be fine. But if we had rotten meat, that means that this is not getting fast enough. Either that, or it could have been that we had meat off. That's more likely. We probably had meat out here from a critter that died that we didn't get to. And then I don't have any way to get to the meat. That's more likely what happened. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. That water is causing me issues here. I need to get rid of it quickly, because I cannot groom these Sweetles. It's just enough water to submerge the grooming station so that they couldn't do grooming. Let's see if we have enough to put in our conveyor loaders. We need one in each room because the sweepers can only reach inside that room. So we're going to put one in the corner of each room like this. Almost enough. Looks like we just got another batch. And then the conveyor rails can just be regular copper, so that's fine. So, oops. Connect all 3 of these. Okay, so now once that's built, it'll all be in place. We just need to get the power done to it. So let's check on. I have a little bit of wire to put in. So I can get this done. This done. Get this bridge in. And that'll make it so we have power going up here. So let me check on this bathroom now. Okay, so cool. So we have power going to this. This is waiting sand delivery. Let's increase that priority because we do not want this bathroom backing up. And we will temporarily just put the storage bin. Actually, I want it on the other side of this door for sure. So let's deconstruct this now that we have a regular bathroom. And we'll probably move this out later, but we're going to put sand in here. And eventually what we'll do is have a sweeper that reaches out and grabs the sand and puts it in here. And we'll lock this door so that duplicates can't come in here. And the reason we're going to do that is because we'll have a poker shell in here. And poker shells get very, very angry and violent when they have an egg nearby. So when he lays an egg, if our duplicates go in there to put it in sand, they're going to get crap beat out of them. Oh, wait. What? Did I hit the wrong thing there? Didn't mean to do that. Put a 9 on this. I want to get it done. Give me some sand in there. New duplicate. Take the suit. We have plenty of ranchers. Nothing really fancy there. More skill points to assign. Ender's going to become our new doctor. Mama G, we're working on getting her to a mechatronics engineer because we can always use more. Ooh, that puts her morale down. Why is her morale so low? She didn't get a Great Hall bonus. Wonder if that was a food issue? Not sure. Keep an eye on that, see if it happens again. Looks like a lot of people did. Is the Great something messed up with the Great Hall? Yeah, the Great Hall's not a Great Hall. Oh, because this got broken when I put in the tiles. We need to fix that ASAP. So what happened there is because there was no Great Hall bonus, all these duplicates lost that extra 6 morale from the Great Hall, which put a bunch of them underneath their requirement. So like Statler, for example, has 5 morale but needs 6, which means their stress is driving up. So we need to get that fixed ASAP so that by next cycle everything is fixed again, so that people can start getting their morale back up. That's how this game is, though. If you miss one little minor thing, you can really screw your whole plan up. Okay, so now that those tiles are in place, this is a Great Hall again. So everybody that eats in here, which everybody does once a day, will get that morale back. And we'll see these numbers go back to normal on the next round. Okay, so that's good. We have power all the way up to here. So the power is working. We just need to get power. Oh, we need power lines into the conveyor loaders too. That's why we don't have power. There we go. There we go. There we go. We also need to set these. We're just going to have this be all items, because we're having the eggs and everything stored in the same spot, so that'll be fine. We will do the same for all of these. In fact, we'll just copy the settings across. And we need to get power for these. Oh, cool. So this is working. We can see all the items here getting loaded. It's going to be a lot to pick up because they've been dropping coal for a long time. But once it's all loaded, then we'll get, any eggs will immediately get pulled out. Will also mean that we will not have to have duplicates coming down here to supply the feeders. They just, every once in a while, will need to put the sandstone into the storage bins. So we can actually lower the priority on those. The idea is that we don't need to fuel them as often. Oops, I don't want to copy the settings, because this one is going to be sulfur. They should all be priority 5. We can lower the priority on these as well. They already are, so now we won't have duplicates wasting time coming in here to fill them up. They'll just bring down sulfur and sandstone as we can. I'm actually running out of sulfur. I think I'm actually out, or I'm close to it. So that's going to become an issue. I don't have a renewable source for sulfur yet. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up getting rid of the Sweetles. And we will switch it over so that we have all hatches, or stone hatches would be even better. So I wonder if I have any stone hatch eggs yet. If I switch to sedimentary rock, that'll help with that a lot. I have one. So let's start that process now. So what we're going to do is we will remove the Sweetle egg. And we will put in stone hatchling eggs in these last 2 to start. And then we're going to switch this off from Sweetles, which means since this is set to auto wrangle, all these Sweetles in here are going to get pulled out. And since there's no room in either of these, they're going to get put up here, which will give us a nice little boost of meat to get us through to the end of the achievement. Hopefully. Let's do this research. Another skill point. You can see that these morales are already starting to bump back up. So AR has another skill point. She can become an electrical engineer, one step away from becoming another mechatronics engineer. Okay. Power from up here to there, there. Almost done getting all the power in place. So it has 840, it's going to add another 720, that's 1560. Means I could have enough power to do these refrigerators on the same grid. I think I'm going to put in a 4th generator here. I don't mind having a lot of manual generators because it helps to level up people's skill points as well. So, okay, let's get this. We're going to take a break while I let some of this construction get done, and then I'll come back before the end of the episode to hopefully show us getting either very close or finished with the Carnivore achievement. So, be back shortly. Cycle 90. 10 cycles to go before we have to have the Carnivore achievement done. And we are currently sitting at 327,000 calories eaten. So 73,000 to go. Which means we have to eat at least 7,000 calories a day, which is 2 pieces of barbecue. As long as we can get 2 hatchlings delivered to this chamber every day, we're good. So there's one in there. Here goes another one. So for this cycle, we're doing good. I'm waiting on the stone hatches to finish incubating so I can start filling up this chamber with stone hatches. I switched the food for all of these hatches over to sedimentary rock, which will increase the chances. Let's take a look at them so you can see. The stone hatchling chance from it increases as they eat sedimentary rock. So I am feeding them nothing but sedimentary rock so that this number will go up and I'll get more stone hatchling eggs. I'm still cooking off or incubating off the Sweetle eggs because they don't take too long to incubate. And so the ones that I have left, I will use up. I have 8, so another 2 rounds through and we'll be good. Once we start getting stone hatchling eggs, we'll get those in there. So we have another hatchling that was hatched this time. So he'll get taken and put into the evolution chamber. These sweepers are working overtime because of picking up all the sandstone that I dropped on the floor. But they'll be caught up shortly. Hopefully. I want to get these eggs out of here. Can't be that much left on the ground. They're almost done. 7.3 tons, and it's only picking up 20 kilograms at a time. So it's going to take a little while. That's fine. Another cycle or so, it'll be finished. So where is the meat that we got? So we don't have any meat at the moment. This is about to get fired up though, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 in there. So that'll be another 20,000 calories of barbecue once that is done. So good, that's perfect. And these are about to hatch. So we'll check back in right before we get to cycle 100 and we'll go over our plan after that. All right, we've reached the last 5 cycles of the first 100. We have 31,000 calories to go to get carnivore. We currently are sitting on 9,600 calories of meat, which will turn into 12,000 calories of barbecue. And we have 1,800 calories of barbecue left. So that means we're almost there. So we're going to play through the end of this last 5 cycles and see what happens. We still have all of our meat being delivered. We did run up here to get to this section to grab a couple pieces of meat out of here. Let's get a sweep command on them. I want to get them up there as quick as possible. Because we are still struggling to keep food going, even as we get towards the end. We'll make it. And then we can start working on getting our oxygen fortified, which will help a lot. Decon this so I can get up in here. I'm still trying to finish up this little tunnel. I've been focusing on just keeping food going. So we're grabbing the meat here. People will get cooking. But now that we have Locavore finished, we've actually had that finished for a while, but I didn't want to get into doing a lot of farming because I wanted to make sure people were still eating meat. 22 to go. Once we're not focused on having an entirely meat-based diet, we can put in some actual farming infrastructure, and that'll help quite a bit. So we got another Sweetle that's going to be delivered. Get that last one put in. couple more that'll be hatching in the next couple cycles. So we have everything we need to get the last few calories done in these last 4 cycles that we have left. And we've started to get the stone hatch production up. Once we have all this filled back up and we're using stone hatches, we have quite a bit of igneous rock, and we still have all of the map to explore, so we'll have plenty of food for that. Then our food situation will be back to being fine, especially since we can supplement it with crops from farming. It's just a matter of getting over this 100-day hump, and then things can really take off. The next achievement that we really need to work on after that, there's only one left that is a timed achievement, and it's super sustainable. And the reason that that's limited is that means that we can't use any natural gas, petroleum, wood, or coal burners until this achievement is met. And we have quite a ways to go with that. But once we put in the oxygen system using hydrogen, that system uses a hydrogen burner. That'll increase this number by quite a bit. But once we have super sustainable finished, we have discovered a natural gas geyser here and here, so we can set those up with natural gas burners to get some really good power going, sustainable power. And between that setup and the oxygen setup, we'll be able to enclose our base and do exosuits, and then we'll really start exploring the map, because we'll be able to go everywhere. So let's check out this last blueprint we have. We're just going to take the salt water. I don't need to add any more stress to our delicate food situation by putting in another duplicate. We have meat up here that just needs cooked, so that'll fix this starvation problem. Let's check out our number. We're at 383, 17,000 to go. Currently we have 3,200, another 4,800 meat in here. So as we keep getting the meat going in, we'll have enough to finish it the next cycle. And then we can go from there. The carnivore achievement is always difficult to do, but I've done it on no sweat before, which is a lot easier because you don't have to deal with quite so much problems with starvation and everything else, because the duplicants don't eat as much. But the issue with that was that you had to do, on no sweat, you have to do, 20 or so duplicants just in order to be able to eat enough barbecue once you have the hatches set up. So playing on the survival difficulty meant that we could do it with a lot less hatchet or duplicates. Eventually we will need to get to 20 duplicates, because there is an achievement for having 20 duplicates. Where's that at? I'm not sure. It might be near the top. I'm not sure, but there is an achievement. Here it is. Have at least 20 living duplicates living in the colony at one time. So we will have to get 6 more duplicates to get that achievement. But I probably will wait to do that until we unlock other asteroids, so that we can have duplicates living on more than one asteroid and not have to have 20 duplicates all on this same one. Okay, so we have more coming in there. Check this out again. So just 8,000 calories to go for this achievement. This is the first time I've ever gotten the carnivore achievement completed on a survival map, so it's quite a challenge, but it's definitely doable. If I can dirt my way through it, anybody can get it done. I'm not too concerned with what skills I'm giving here right now, because once I get things set up, I probably will scrub a lot of these duplicates and then start doing specialization. So for now, I'm just going to throw skill points in. Okay, let's cycle this again, because we're hitting starvation again, so we'll kill that. We'll evolve that Sweetle. Let's see any more that are easily nearby. But I think what we should work on is getting a little farming set up. I'm going to do it down here where the temperatures aren't too high yet, because we're definitely going to need to have some kind of farming just to get us through until we have the food sustainable again. So let's put in some farm tiles. Unlike the rest of the build, I put farm tiles 3 of heart for making it more efficient. I'm going to frame it in insulated tile, because in the future that's how I will have it. Actually, I don't want these here. And I definitely want to get some space down here to get through. We're just going to set up a little mealwood farm. The reason I'm wrapping it in insulated tile is because eventually we're going to start getting our temperature up here, and then once we have coolant setups, we will make this a chill box to control the temperature in it. These ladders on this side. So this ladder we're going to want there, and there, and there. I guess I could actually put these 2 blocks tall for the mealwood, but I don't think I need that much. If I was running completely off of mealwood, look at the math on that quick. Meal ice is 600 calories. Each one of these will produce 1 in 3 cycles. So if I need 1,000 calories for each duplicate, that means I basically need like 1.5 of these times 3. So 4.5, a little less than 4.5 per duplicate. And each one of these rows is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Which means that's enough for 3 duplicates times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this farm is going to be big enough that it would produce enough mealwood or meal ice for us to completely feed our colony. And so then we don't need to worry about running out of food while we're going into the next phase of the build. And it's a bit overkill, but I'm going to set it up so that it gets turned into pickled meal, which will last a lot longer, so that while I am waiting to get some more things set up, I can not stress about having food. Because after getting the Carnivore achievement and stressing about that for the whole time, I kind of want to take a break from worrying about food. So we have a whole bunch of food just got put in there. We're out of Sweetle eggs. So let's switch these over to stone hatchling eggs. Let's check this achievement out because we're about to hit it. Carnivore, 399,174. So the next person who eats barbecue will put us over the edge. Cooking up some barbecue there. Six people starving right at the end. There's some barbecue. Cycle this again because I think I'm gonna need the food just to get us through it. Colony achievement earned. That'll be Carnivore. So there we go. We got it done. It's harder than I thought it would be. We still have to get some food for these people that need it. Keep cooking away. Get this farm set up as quick as we can. So in another 3 cycles, these will all produce meal lice, which will help us greatly as well. Let's do a higher priority on these deconstructs to get the ladders out of here. Let's just put this whole thing on priority 9. Getting some food going is going to be important. So I'm getting very close to having severe problems with food, even though I have made it through the carnivore cycle. Alright, so no more Sweetles. We used them all up. They definitely help. Get to the point where we have a way to make sustainable sulfur. Sweetles are the way to go as far as that goes. Because Sweetles, you can look them up real quick while we wait on this to finish. So if we look up Sweetles, their comfort range is really good, but can I see, does this show me? Doesn't, I guess it doesn't show me. But they live for 75 cycles, and when they are happy, they produce an egg every 5 cycles. It's 22% instead of 17% for the hatches. And so we end up getting, oh, this should be set to stone hatches. That's a problem. I don't want it to kill off my stone hatch. So before we cycle that, wrangle him back so that he gets put back into the farm. When I set these up, we didn't have any full-grown stone hatches, and so it wouldn't let me put these set for stone hatches. So that stone hatch got put up here. Okay, so now that he's out, we can cycle this again to kill off those last couple. Let's copy these settings all the way down. Ooh, we released some hydrogen there. That's okay. We'll set up some gas filtering soon here. Take the briar seeds. I'm done with Sweetles for the time being. Okay, so more meat coming. So we just basically need to get through a few more cycles Up here we're already having body temperature issues, so I'm going to get rid of this temporary mule ice farm I made, just so that we don't have to deal with that. I think that the mealwood temperature range is up to 30, and if we look down here, mostly we are at 25s, 26s. So we got a little bit of time before we even need to deal with temperature down here. So that's why I put the farm down this way. It'll get us through the hump. Okay, so that's going to call it for this episode, I believe. I think I'm way over time, but I wanted to finish out the carnivore achievement. Next time we come in, we're going to work on some of the oxygen production and getting power production finished so that we can finish off super sustainable, and then we can really clean the base up. We'll make a nice tight base with everything we need in it, and we will seal it off with exosuits, and we will go out and explore this base or this asteroid in full. But we have been collecting large amounts of water so that we can turn this into oxygen shortly. But there's lots of water sources on this map that I haven't even explored yet. We have a bunch of geysers that we need to look at and see what they are and work on those. We have some that we did find that we do know what they are that we'll tap into once we can. And it'll make for a very interesting playthrough on this asteroid, I think. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. The next episode, like I said, will probably be a recap episode, because I think between now and then I'm going to do a live stream and play through some of the base building. But if I do that, I will put up a recap of everything we did during the live stream, and I'll put up the recording of the live stream as well, so that people can watch through if they want to. So if you're enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and share it with some people that you might think might find it interesting. I appreciate it. It does help. And I'll see you the next time.